Kids that are here tonight.
There are two.
There you go. Thank you for identifying yourself. In such a situation, I'm sure that our phones are being tapped, and there has to be at least one FBI agent in here someplace. But be that what it may, we've never hid out. We haven't been hiding about what we've been doing. We haven't hidden our agenda. We haven't changed our agenda. We think there's something wrong with the current monetary system in the country. We think that we have a better model, and we think that citizens need to be proactive in terms of leading the government instead of following the government, particularly this damn government, which I'm not that happy with. And I think it's probably pretty mutual. I don't think they're really happy with me either, obviously. Now that they're going to come and arrest me one of these days. As you can tell, I'm really concerned. Actually, seriously, I am concerned about the country and its money, and you should be too. You all have seen higher gasoline prices and food prices. The reality is, if you've been to our site and you know which way straight up is, the reality is that prices really haven't gone up. The value of the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down, basically. That's it. For those of you who haven't read the 4 gallons of gas analogy, I can give it to you in about 60 seconds. And that is, simply think back about what the price of gasoline was when you started driving. We can all remember, I remember when I started driving. Jim Thomas, what was it when you started driving?
I was driving a horse.
You still like it like a horse. Well, anyway, I can remember when it was 25 cents a gallon, which means I could go down and buy 4 gallons of gas for $1. And at that time, that dollar was backed up by silver. This is 50 years later. That same amount of silver still buys 4 gallons of gas today. So what does it tell you? It tells you the price of gasoline has not really gone up. It's the purchasing power of the dollar that has gone down. And that is a problem that affects all of us. Regardless if you're young or old, it affects all of us, particularly older people. Older people don't work as hard and as fast and as long as younger people. I think probably a lot of people disagree about that because young people don't have a very good rap these days. But the reality is that I'm a little older these days, and I'm not quite as swift as I used to be. Right, Jim? Right. So, in any case, it's difficult, to maintain your purchasing power in this environment. It's hard to maintain the amount of money that you need to live on as you get older, when the government money is constantly stealing your purchasing power. Stealing is the word I use. Now, the government would have us believe that we have inflation. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is a total misnomer. We do not have inflation. What we have is theft of our purchasing power. Of course, the government doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want to have a theft index. They want to have an inflation index or consumer price index. They don't have anything other than admitting that they are stealing your purchasing power. Well, that's exactly what's going on. So you really need to do something about it. Well, you really don't need to, but you'd be dumb if you didn't. The problem is that this has been going on for a long time. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything new about the Bush regime, The reality is it's been going on, well, very clearly since 1913 when the Federal Reserve came in. But the problem is that up until recently, about 9 years ago, on October 1st, 1998, when the government screwed with the money and screwed you didn't have any choice. Because there wasn't any other choice to you. There was only one money out there. So along comes, this guy, Bernard, with a bright idea about, well, what about having gold and silver currency, Probably most of you didn't know about it back then. Sarah, you certainly did. Sarah was here when I arrived. She's almost as old as Jim. Not quite that. We can all tell you're not that old. Nobody's as old as you are, Jim. In any case, the thing is that 9 years ago, a brand new world broke here, right here in Evansville. I mean, this is ground zero. And it's pretty simple. It's just a different type of currency that's 100% backed up by gold and silver. And you have a choice. you've probably heard this phrase, private voluntary barter currency. Okay? You're not forced to use it, but you'd be brain dead not to use it. I mean, one currency holds its value and appreciates its value, and the other currency loses value. I mean, like, duh. What would you rather have, an asset or a deficit? Let's see. In the last 8 years of the Bush regime, the U.S. dollar in the last 8 years of the Bush regime, the national debt has gone up 50%. 50%. That's an alarming rate. Okay. And, not surprisingly, the U.S. dollar has lost 50%. Not by coincidence, In that same time frame, the Liberty dollar has doubled in value, and